All right, good evening. And welcome to the City Council Committee of the Whole meeting for April 10th, 2023. If the clerk will help me with the roll, please.
Brereton,
Here.
Flurry,
Here.
Frank,
Here.
Freeman, McGee,
Here.
Mulhall,
Present.
Porter,
Here.
Prather. Prather is absent. Snow,
Here.
Stevens,
Here.
9 present.
Okay, thank you. And under public comment, I think Alderwoman Frank wanted to make some comments, so I will turn it over to you. If you want to come up here, you're more than welcome. If you want to sit there, whatever you want to do.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to take the time to thank everybody that helped in a tornado, because last week we sort of breezed through it real quick. But I just wanted to thank the fire department, the police department, the street department, and the first responders. We were able, today I met one of the first responders. Well, he wasn't a first responder, he was a firefighter that helped on B shift. So I just want to take the time to thank everybody, because I was so proud of our city.
Thank you. All right, under public forum, I guess we have none. Building, planning, zoning, unfinished business, we have none. Building, planning, zoning, new business. Item A, building department update. Kip?
Thank you, Mayor. For the month of March, we issued 56 permits for a value of construction just over $600,000. 16 of those were commercial, 41 were residential. We issued a permit to demo former Grandma's restaurant to make room for Dunkin' Donuts. There's been a lot of activity for Taco Bell. Dairy Queen is framed up. A lot of activity out by the fuel center and the dispensary. The walls are up at General Mills. Are currently working on the steel for the roof. We finalized Anytime Fitness. Staff has been in contact with Kunis in regards to their expansion. I don't have an update for code enforcement. We are being inundated at this time, and we'll work on that. We're talking with the business owners down on State Street as far as the damage, trying to get a timeline as when we can remove the fences and get the parapets and the other damages rectified. Talking with the Apollo Theater in regards to plans to rebuild. Same with a couple other buildings downtown. It's unfortunate what happened. There's a lot of damage. That's a lot of trees, a lot of issues, but we're thumbing through it, and we'll deal with it as each case happens. And that's about all I got.
Any questions for Mr. Countryman? Alderman Porter?
I'm just curious, the building across the street from the Apollo, I had heard that it was going to have to be torn down. Is that true, or is that a rumor?
I believe two buildings across the street, one is still dealing with some damage. The other one has been secured. There is some damage, but at this time there's been no condemnation orders issued, no orders of repair. Like I said, we're working with the building property owners to get a timeline on when we can get the damage that is a life safety hazard for the public. As you know, the buildings downtown have a 0 lot setback, so the buildings abut city right away, public right away. So that's why the fencing is up. Once we know that the buildings are secured and repaired, then the fencing will come down. But at this time, that's why the public walkways and stuff have been fenced off. We're gonna have to walk around it until the property owners go through probably their insurance companies and hire contractors. The weather just broke. It's beautiful outside. So, you know, we're gonna work with them as best we can. If it gets to be over 30 days or something, maybe we'll lean on them a little bit. But at this time, we're just kind of taking baby steps.
Any other questions for Mr. Countryman? Alderwoman Freeman?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to inquire about 3 properties. Seems like the old Happy Walk is stalled out for quite some time now. And then, do you know when Taco Bell is looking to break ground out on Gateway Center? And then Grandma's, is Dunkin' Donuts still moving in there or not?
Staff has approved the plans for Taco Bell. There's been some activity as of today. There's been constant communication with revisions. Originally, they submitted a double drive-through. I believe they've taken that out, so they're updating their plans. I know Public Works has been talking to them about installing the water and sewer service to the property. So that's kind of where that's at. The permit's been issued. It's ready to go. As far as the old Happy Walk, I believe he's looking for a tenant to lease. He's getting out of the restaurant business. What was the third one? I'm sorry.
Grandma's Restaurant, and if Dunkin' Donuts was going in there or no?
Yeah, like I said, I issued the demo permit for Grandma's. The utilities have been disconnected. It's just a matter of them mobilizing and taking the old building down and then doing the mass grading for the new site.
Oh, so they're not just revamping it, they're gonna level it and rebuild?
Yeah, the site will pass, there's a lot of civil engineering that has to be done as far as traffic patterns and things like that. So yeah, the building is coming down and then they'll start out new.
Thank you.
Gina, did you have anything that you wanted to add regarding that? I know that the plan, the footprint on the, where Grandma's is going to be demoed, that building, regarding that, I don't know if you had any comments.
Just like Kip said, we've been in constant communication. They did tweak their site plan slightly from when they had the special use. They're actually adding an outdoor cooler similar to the ones you see in the alley on Buchanan Street, those black walk-in freezers for extra storage, but needed to make sure that that wasn't going to alter their lot coverage, stuff like that. They submitted for a building plan, and obviously their setbacks, lot coverage, and all that was fine. And then they had to come back through, and it was the same thing for Dairy Queen and also for the dispensary. They can get a permit because their building meets setbacks, lot coverage, parking improvements, but maybe they don't have their lighting plan or their landscape plan, because that stuff can be dealt with while under construction. So they did come back in with the lighting plan and the landscape plan, maybe like a week and a half ago. Same with the dispensary. So we've just been tying up some loose ends on some of the outstanding smaller issues. But yeah, like you said, there's still been that constant communication at the staff level of making adjustments. Is this okay? Like Taco Bell, his bids came back high, so he wanted to reduce the cost, so they're going from 2 drive-through lanes to 1. But yeah, they all still anticipate moving forward as soon as possible.
Okay, any other questions for Mr. Countryman? All right.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Kip. Then we have planning zoning update. Gina?
So no public hearings this month. Next month, I did get the final plat of subdivision for Project Yukon, and I expect at least one more special use to come in this week. So working on getting all those out for reviews. Zoning verification letters are staying steady. Site plan, like Kip said, those are picking up. The loose ends from permits that were issued last year and now new site plans that are coming in for construction. a lot more phone calls, a lot more emails with questions that are always hypothetical at first. But those are definitely picking up, so I expect it to be pretty busy. Historic Preservation, they will be reviewing their grants at the end of next month. So they're talking about some fundraisers to do because all their grants are solely funded by their fundraisers. And then as soon as those are done, I will be sending out the city's facade grant. I try to keep them separate because a lot of the recipients are the same, and it confuses them when they got two going at the same time, so I wait till one closes out to issue the next one. And again, like Kip said, working with the downtown property owners for the tornado, luckily, not luckily, the 5 buildings that received the most damage are all considered national landmarks. So it opens them up for tax credits to help with not only the damage repairs, but any kind of renovations in general. So I organized a meeting where Darius from the State Historic Preservation Office came and met with those property owners to explain the tax credit process, what's eligible, what's not eligible. And then we visited each site so that the property owners could point out things to him and ask questions. So tax credits are a little bit above my head, and I don't want to get involved, so I just wanted the property owners to meet who they would be working with at the state so that they felt more comfortable reaching out to them, and hopefully they take advantage of that to help with that funding.
Okay, any questions for Ms. Delrose? Alderman Porter?
Yeah, just one, Gina. I was just wondering if we can use the downtown facade grant money to help out some of the buildings that were actually damaged downtown.
They can definitely apply. They are all within that area, and I'm sure some of them will probably take advantage of that and apply, obviously with limited funds. There's also, for those that don't know, Twin Towers did buy the ACE building, and I believe he plans on asking for, applying for that grant to help start fixing up the old ACE building. But yeah, so that grant facade funding that the city has is for stuff like that, is helping with the brickwork, the tuck pointing, windows repair, not so much signage and stuff, but it is to help. I know there's a couple buildings that have some parapet that, it's not tornado related, it's just age related, that their parapets are starting to deteriorate. So we're encouraging them, hey, we have this funding source to help you with that parapet repair. Don't be afraid to apply for it and get that ball going for yourself. So I would expect, unfortunately, a high level of applications for a limited amount of funding. So it's going to be some tough decisions this year, but it is what it's there for.
All right. Anybody else? Mr. Countryman?
I add one more comment that I don't know what people have been hearing or what rumors are going around. No buildings downtown have been condemned. Like I said, staff is working with the property owners, building owners to do what they have to do to make the buildings usable. The ones that are fenced off or secured that abut State Street, they have entrances in the back. The building across the street from the Apollo, they immediately rectified the parapet that laid on the roof and took care of that. And we're working with the one on Lincoln and State and the other two buildings, the Apollo and the Cecilia's, to get them. She's trying to find the brick. The brick was picked up. She can't match it. So stuff's going to take a little time, but we're not leaning on them. Nothing's been condemned. I just wanted to make that statement. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. All right, and then item C, Welcome Spring Festival 2023, a temporary use. Gina?
So this is the temporary use that Eddie and Fiesta Market host every year. It used to be the Cinco de Mayo Festival, and then last year it was rebranded to the Welcome to Spring. It takes place in the large parking lot between Fiesta Market and RP Lumber. There will be a carnival. There will be a stage for performances. They'll have a health fair. They'll have craft vendors. It's a family-friendly event. Alcohol is not sold. So they are limited. Since they want to extend past daylight hours, they need city council approval. So they want to go from 11 a.m. to 10:30 Saturday and Sunday, and then on Monday, cut off at 8. They recognize kids have to go to school the next day, people have to work the next day, so it will be cutting off at 8. So there are conditions for it, mostly sanitation conditions, and, you know, prohibiting alcohol and parking and access to fire suppression. They're the same conditions that have been placed on this event for several years. Lengthy discussion this morning with the decibel levels, that we are going to do some, not surveillance, but be a little bit more proactive in seeing what it is, and that way next year it won't be like an arbitrary number. We'll have a better idea of what decibel is the most impactful and stuff like that. So moving forward, we can fine tune that condition to one that is enforceable and practical.
Okay. And so the request from the applicant is to request the temporary use permit to hold the Welcome Spring Festival 2023 festival on May 27th, 8th, and 9th in the parking lots of Fiesta Market and RP Lumber. It was recommended approval with the following conditions. One, event hours are from Saturday, May 27th through Sunday, May 28th, from 11 a.m. to 10:30 p.m., and Monday, May 29th, from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Volume levels shall be monitored and supervised by the applicant, shall not exceed 60 decibels at the property line. Adequate drinking water, hand washing facilities, and toilet facilities shall be provided. All food vendors shall be properly licensed by the City of Belvedere and Boone County Health Department. Open alcohol is prohibited. Parking along Chrysler Drive is prohibited, and fire suppression systems located at the site shall be accessible at all times. Vendor and organization booths shall be located so as to not impede fire department access to the building. So under those, and we also have the applicant here this evening, Eddie Batras. Welcome, Eddie. Nice to see you again. So if anybody has any questions of the applicant, I guess they could ask. And if not, or could I get a motion to grant that request? Motion by Alderman Stevens, second by Alderman McGee. Any discussion? Alderwoman Frank?
I just had one question, because I didn't see this mentioned in here, but I glossed over it. They will take care of their own garbage, right? Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
And they always have. Mr. Batras, would you like to come up and say something? If I call on you, I'd like you in front of a camera, please, because that way individuals will call me or text me and say they can't hear you. So welcome.
Thank you. Well, thank you for your time. We've been also monitoring closely what happened to to Belvedere, and we've been helping on what we can. And as one good city that basically we all, you as the front leaders, us next to you, we want to see Belvedere, Boone County just moving up. There is a lot of solidarity going on in the city and the county. There is a lot of good people with good spirit, and things like this is just a recall for all of us to be stronger. Welcome to Spring Festival, Bienvenido La Primavera. Basically, it's an effort from us to give something back to the community. The whole idea, this compared to in the past, we're just going to have one day on the stage, which is going to be on Saturday. Then Sunday and Monday, which is Memorial Day, there are just going to be rides going on. So this year we decided to look into health. We're working close to the health department to a couple more local clinics, and also we're inviting hospitals, probably they can come, because we want to have a resource for the community when it comes on health. And we think that this will be a wonderful opportunity. We're going to start 11. Then in the afternoon, we're going to have entertainment for family, for kids and youth. We are going to have piñatas. We're going to have contests. We are looking for an evening that family can come, enjoy, and at the same time look into what is available when it comes to health. Then around 6 p.m., the stage is going to open. We're going to have a couple of dance troupes coming. Some of them are kids. The other ones are teenagers. And then around 8 p.m., we're going to have a Tejano group. We're going to have Texas music being played during the festival, which we believe that is going to be outstanding. And then we are hoping to have a well-known group coming. So basically what we have done, instead of doing 3 days, we just put our effort into doing it one day and doing the best that we can. So there's going to be advertising going on for people to come and visit our city. We want to be ready, and when they come, to offer the best that we have from the city. And basically the whole idea is for us to have a good entertainment to the community, and hopefully next year we can do it better, and we can do it better to the point that this is a festival that sooner or later people will say, oh, it's coming, we got to go. So we do that in mind.
Okay. If anybody has any questions for Eddie while he's up here, feel free to ask. If not, Eddie, thank you very much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it, and
Yes.
always nice to work with you.
Thank you. And also, the doors are open for the fire department, for the police department, more than welcome. There will be a lot of people coming. We know that there will be, and it's a good way to outreach and get closer to our community. And same thing with the other dependencies offices that there are in the city, more than welcome.
See you there.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, we have a motion and a second then on the floor to approve the applicant's request. Is there any other questions? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed, thank you. And Gina, you want to have 2D as well.
Yep. So as you're aware, with special uses, you have 1 year to start construction and 2 years to be operational. 2 years ago, Casey's gas station on Bullitt Road applied for a special use for indoor commercial entertainment for video gaming. There wasn't a lot of construction that needed to take place inside the store, so they were at the 2-year mark. They did not get the video gaming machines. As we have heard from several people, the state does not review the applications on a first-come, first-served basis, so you are really at the mercy of when they decide to review your case. So 2 years later, Casey's is still waiting for the state of Illinois to review their application. They're aware that there's a limit and that the 40 licenses, or I think I emailed Jessica that the 40 licenses have been taken, but they still want to renew their special use so that they stay valid in case someone closes and the license is up for grabs. So they want to stay valid, so they're requesting a 1-year extension.
Okay,
And they are here to answer your questions.
okay. Motion by Alderman Snow, second by Alderman Stevens. Any questions regarding that motion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passed, thank you. And item E is the appointment, the reappointment of Sonia Doberfil to the Belvedere Historic Preservation Commission. And I would ask that a motion be made to consent and approve the appointment of Ms. Sonia Doberfil to the Belvedere Historic Preservation Commission for a 3-year term ending in April 30th, 2026. Motion by Alderman Snow, second by Alderman Porter. And as I've said before, it's very, very gracious of individuals to step up with their time, with their commitment of time. It's difficult to find people that continue to want to serve, so I'm grateful to make this appointment. And if there are no other questions, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
If there's any opposed, okay, thank you. Gina, did you have anything else? No, thank you. All right, item 3, Public Works unfinished business, we have none. Item 4, Public Works new business. Item A, Public Works update, Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, Your Honor. Update for tonight. I'm happy to announce that we have a new Assistant Public Works Director. His name is Jordan Keck, and he's sitting right back here. And I told him he wasn't going to have to make a speech tonight. But he comes to us he grew up in DeKalb. He graduated from Iowa State University with a degree in engineering, and he currently resides outside of Kingston, a little farmette. And this is his 3rd week here working for us, and he's still here, so which is good news, and he has a smile on his face. That's really good news, so I think it'll work out well, and he's doing a fine job so far.
All right, and Jordan, welcome. And, I know you're not specifically local to Belvedere, but you're certainly close. And it was a pleasure to have you come interview, and I'm glad that, you're working for the city of Belvedere. Thank you very much.
And that's the only update I have, so if there's any questions. Let's see. Well, we can talk about when we get to Irene Road. I can update you on Irene Road on the water main portion of our requirements for the extension to complete the loop necessary for the General Mills project. We have received our IEPA permit, construction permit, to install that water main. We are awaiting. We have filed for the permit from the Union Pacific Railroad to cross the right-of-way. We've sent in the fees and the proper paperwork. We're just waiting for the approved permit to come back. So as soon as that comes back, then we will be doing the bidding process for the water main portion of that.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? Alderman Snow.
I know we talked about this a while back. Whatever happened to the Appleton Road going over the railroad tracks, or is that a long term?
Funny.
deal?
Well,
Funny you would ask.
there's been several efforts put forth to begin that process. It's a relatively long process. Engineering alone will take approximately a 2-year period. We have made application to funds, federal Railway Administration funds, FRA funds, to fund the engineering portion of that. We have also had inquiries through our congressmen about that project as well, and we're waiting word on those efforts. Do you want to add anything to that at this point, or?
Well, your timing of your questions, you must have ESP. I had received a call this afternoon. As you know, when I had ran for office, I had thought that was a worthwhile project. I had always thought that probably in hindsight, whenever Chrysler was built, based upon the fact that their freight split the city in two, north and south, with a 3-mile-long east and west train, I always thought that that probably was a missed opportunity at the beginning, maybe in the excitement of everything 58 years ago, to be able to build that plant 60 years ago when they announced it. I had, from the very beginning of when I'd taken office, I had started having discussions about how important I felt that it was that we, for public safety, for one thing, you have, if you have calls for service, you certainly have individuals that are going to be waiting potentially however far out of town you have to go, either to the west or to the east. And as well, as you know, we had some discussions about also a passenger rail here in the community, and it seems like we would also be increasing traffic on the same tracks. So to me, it has always been something that I felt that we should do. I had talked to both Senator Durbin, Senator Duckworth, Congressman Foster, and anybody else who will listen, and Brent. Also, we had applied for funding regarding this, and I was pleasantly surprised today to get a call to say from the congressman that that is moving forward. And also, I think I might point out, in case we don't recall, is that we had an opportunity to redo Appleton Road. They were going to make that into a 4-lane from a 2-lane. My point was, why would we throw good money after bad if we're still waiting to potentially have an overpass that would be needed? Why throw $6 million towards a 4-lane that just creates a 4-lane bottleneck? We haven't solved the problem with the bridge, with the overpass or the grade separation. And to me, it was a waste of money. So I had declined on taking that money. I'd passed on it because my hopes were that we would get a crack at, that somebody would listen and see that it would be a wise, prudent way to spend money, and we wouldn't go back later on and spend money, throw good money after bad. So evidently somebody heard that, because they have decided that they're going to move forward. I'll find out the details of it tomorrow. I will talk with the congressman's admin and find out what exactly that means. I think that project was approximately 22 million, perhaps, maybe more.
Yeah, I think it's currently, right now, the total project cost is about 28 million.
Okay. So your question regarding that is very timely. I'll know more here probably tomorrow. Okay. Any other questions? All righty. Thank you. And we have Public Water Supply Loan Program. Brent?
Yes, item B in your packet is a resolution 2023-14, a resolution authorizing a city representative to sign loan documents. And that has to deal with our use of IEPA Public Water Supply Loan Program funds to pay for our new well number 11. As you know, we had state did the initial testing of our local wells last year for PFAS and PFOS. We had 2 wells came back detects with PFAS, and they have been idled since that finding, and the construction of new well number 11 is needed to replace that capacity. The finance manager has graciously agreed to be the signatory for the application and the paperwork for this project. I would recommend approval of resolution 2023-14.
Okay, could I get a motion to that effect? Motion by Alderman Stevens. Can I have a second? Second by Alderman Porter. Any questions regarding that? Alderwoman Frank?
Yes, Director Anderson, could you tell us about how much well number 7 or 11 costs?
So I was going to add to my comments that this is a first string of many pieces of paperwork that will be coming before council for approval throughout this process. The estimated cost right now to do the well drilling is $1 million. That's to drill the hole in the well, in the ground, and then the facility, and depending on after they drill the well, do the pump tests and do the results, will determine what facility extent has to be built for service, and that could range anywhere from 3 to 5 million in today's dollars based on what they find with drilling. Timing wise, it looks like our program, as far as from IEPA concern, is going to be 2 individual loans because of the duration of the project. It's estimated now that the drilling of the well itself will take approximately 12 months to complete, and the facility construction could take another 24 months or more to complete that end of it, depending on the extent of the facilities required. So for IEPA purposes, they have approved the overall project, but they've advised us that they've assigned us 2 different loan numbers, one for the drilling itself and one for the facilities. So there will be, like I said, additional paperwork coming to you for review and approval we'll have more specifics. We have been advised that we should qualify for some additional PFAS funding, but as of yet, we don't know what that means. They're hoping to have parameters on that before the new fiscal year starts July 1, but as of right now, we have not heard. So as we get farther along the process, this topic will be back in front of the council.
Alderwoman Frank, did you have some more additional questions?
Yes, so do we have any idea how many years we would be in this loan program?
The loan program is a 20-year loan program. It's the same parameters that we've used for our most recent wastewater treatment plant project.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions regarding the motion on the floor? Alderwoman Freeman?
Thank you, Mayor. So we currently have 2 loans, right, with the water department. When is one of those going to be paid off? Pretty soon or not for a while?
On the water side, no, we have
Don't we have 2 loans out in Public Works?
a loan currently for, on the wastewater side. Do we have one on the water side right now? We don't yet, do we? I don't think we have one on the water. I think we have on the sanitary sewer side of things.
Okay.
Yeah, when we did our last well, that was paid for from connection fees that we had accumulated through new construction and new developments. So we paid cash for when we did well number 10.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? All right. Hearing none, then all those in favor of the motion to approve Resolution 2023-14, move that forward. Please say aye.
Aye.
If there's any opposed, okay. Thank you. Motion passed. And Brent, item C, Irene Road Realignment Project bid tabulations that the council has in front of them this evening.
Yes, in your packets is the bid tabulation for our Irene Road realignment project. We received 5 bids, the low bid being $1,432,009.73. I would recommend approval of the low bid from N-Track Group in the amount of $1,432,009.73 for the Irene Road realignment project. This work will be paid for from a combination of IDOT EDP funds, IDOT TARP funds, and DCEO grant funds.
Motion by Alderman Snow, second by Alderman Stevens, and this, we had been able to get a lot of help from the state regarding this. Actually, I have always given kudos out to Representative Vella. He actually recognized how important this was going to be to the development of that area. Irene Road interchange, which we had invested in, 11 years ago, I think, the city and the county had made an investment. So they did step up. It's nice to get some of the money back. I think we got a lot of good help. So we have a motion on the floor. Any other questions regarding the motion? Alderwoman Frank?
Okay, Director Anderson, do we have a balance after the grants that the city would be responsible for?
No, we do not. It appears that the grant funding will pay the entire cost of this. This is a cost that would traditionally be borne by the subdivider as part of the development there. But through the funding and through Representative Vella's assistance, we were able to offer that up as part of the process for General Mills to locate here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Fleury?
Thank you. You know when this project will start and how long it'll take to complete?
So right now, it looks like the pre-construction meeting, once the council approves it, then we got to send out a contract with a notice of award. Usually takes 30 days to do the contracts and the bonds and get those back and approved. So hopefully, with concurrence from IDOT through the EDP program and the TARP program to get those approvals back, we're hoping to start breaking ground on this project middle to the end of May. It'll probably take, depending on weather, of course, it's probably a 3-month-long project. During that time, Irene Road will be closed, and the detour traffic will be detoured on Newburgh as the main detour route Ipsen and Appleton. And then we'll have to do some coordination because Appleton's probably, depending on what we find out on the bridge grade separation project, we may have to put an overlay on Appleton to get it by until we do that work, depending on what that time frame looks like. And as you know, our Newburgh Road TARP project was approved for funding. So that project will be scheduled probably to be completed after the Irene Road work is completed and traffic's back open to Irene.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, hearing none. All those in favor of the approval of the low bid regarding the Irene Road Alignment Project, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passed, thank you. And the other thing, as long as we're talking about, I hate to go backwards, but just quickly, because I think it's important to note that the General Mills project is going to bring truck traffic in the amount of 1,700 vehicles, I think it is, daily, and potentially if Project Yukon comes to fruition, we're looking at another 1,900 truck traffic per day. So some of the that traffic, along with the train traffic, because I am optimistic about Stellantis. I do believe that Stellantis is going to build vehicles here. I've always been optimistic, but so when you couple that that grade separation, that bridge over Appleton made good sense. At least it made good sense to me. I think it made good sense to Mr. Anderson, and it made good sense to the decision makers. So I'm happy about that. But it does all tie in with any sort of development that we get in this area. It will affect Appleton Road, and when it does, hopefully we'll be prepared. At least we'll have something at the end of the tunnel, except a train light. So anyhow, that's the rest of that story. All right, before we go forward, Jordan, I know Brent said that you didn't want to come up here and make a speech, but I have to give you an opportunity if you want to come up here. You don't have to. If you don't want to, that's fine. But I would be remiss if I didn't ask you if you wanted to come up and just introduce yourself. You don't have to make a speech or anything, but you're such a nice individual. I think people ought to be able to see your face. So.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say I look forward to working with all of you guys, and if you have any questions for me, let me know.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
And we'll
welcome.
make sure you have all his contact information going forward.
Yeah, and welcome. All right, moving on, 5 other, we have we have life and accidental death and disability insurance renewal. That's in your packets as well. That is mandated by our collective bargaining agreement, so that might make a little bit more sense. You see the information in front of you. Could I get a motion to approve that, please? Motion by Alderman Stevens, second by Alderman Porter. If there's any discussion, any questions regarding that, feel free to ask. Alderman Porter.
Yeah, I see this also includes Belvedere schools. Does some of the school taxes go to pay for part of this premium?
We are part of a co-op, which includes the school district and the county. So we get it for a reduced price.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, so the motion is to renew the City of Belvedere's life and accidental death and disability insurance with Voya for the terms as shown in the documents from Gallagher dated February 27th, 2023. If there are no other questions, no comments, all those in favor moving this forward, please say aye. Aye. If there's any opposed, okay, thank you. Motion passed.
I would just like to add, our rates went down, so we'll be saving $1,000 a year.
Thank you. Thank you, City. Thank you. All right. We have also Belvedere Fire Department Scanell Properties Training Agreement. In your packet was an agreement to allow the fire department to train on Scanell properties on Business Route 20. Those properties are the ones that are still existing out there right off of Bypass 20. Chief Shadle?
Thank you, Your Honor. If you guys remember, last month we had a general acquired structure training agreement that you guys had authorized me to sign. So normally when there's a property that's going to be demolished, the owner doesn't have a legal team like Scanell Properties does. And so there's no training agreement. And so we just use ours, and that has the same effect as this agreement. It basically just gives us permission to use that for training. Theirs is a little more in depth than ours, but basically it's the license to use the property until April 30th at no cost, and that they don't guarantee any condition of the property, and they don't accept any liability for injury or other losses that occur while we train, and that we have to be insured and provide proof of insurance, which we do have, and we do that as well. And that we cannot charge them any fees, and then there's some resolution language in the end of it. So that's the brief summary of that, but it essentially has the same effect as our normal standard acquired structure training agreement. So I request a motion to authorize the signature of the non-exclusive license agreement between Scanell Properties and the City of Belvedere.
Okay. Motion by Alderman Fleury, second by Alderwoman Mohal. Any comments from the city attorney in case we missed anything?
Nope, I already looked it over like, I don't know, 12, 15 times.
Okay. All righty. Alderwoman Freeman, did you have a question?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. So, you guys just go in and use like smoke machines and simulate fires, right? You're not gonna actually burn these buildings, right?
No, ma'am, that's a good question. Originally, we tried to get the permits to burn those, but we had to stop short in the process with the fact that they're so close to US Route 20 there, that we knew that we wouldn't be able to burn because of the possibility of the smoke, the lack of the water supply, and then the lack of the ability to stage the equipment there. So that would have been a possibility, but the permit probably would not have gone through. And when we were looking at applying to the permit, the first thing that we would have had to done is asbestos remediation to even apply for the permit. So being as it was so close to the road and it was unlikely to get approved for that, we didn't actually file for a permit to do that. So if it ever provided that opportunity, we could do that. But to answer your question, no, we won't be burning. Those acquired structures provide us the ability to, tar paper the windows. We have some industrial smoke machines, so to simulate zero visibility conditions that we find when we're fighting a house fire, and we can practice search. We have some rescue mannequins, and we can place them in different areas. We can practice hose deployment, and then different ventilation techniques, and then some self-rescue techniques. So those are the usually things that we do on those types of structures. That type of training is destructive. Obviously, if we do a deck gun attack and we pump 1,000 gallons of water into a building, or even a hose line into a building, it does further damage the property. So we only do that type of training on properties that are going to be demolished. And so that is why we always make sure that we have their property before we do things like that.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. This won't be like what transpired out at the golf course out at where that was an actual burn out at off Belmar.
Correct. Yeah, there will be no live burning of anything. Any smoke would be theatrical, safe to breathe, simulated smoke.
Okay. All right, thank you. Alderwoman Frank?
I'm confused. Isn't the Scanell new property?
So when they purchased the property, there's 3 farmhouses that they acquired. Those 3 farmhouses are right off of US Route 20 there, and they're going to be demolished, but they're still there, they're existing, and so no, nothing to the brand-new property, of course.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we have the motion then to approve the motion to authorize signature of the non-exclusive license agreement between Scanell Properties and the City of Belvedere regarding the fire departments to train at properties on Business 20. If there are no other questions, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
If there's any opposed? Okay. Motion passed, thank you. And item C, in your packets, you have a memo from me regarding, please be advised, I'm appointing Carlos Villarreal to the Fire and Police Commission to fill the unexpired term of Mr. Ed Gonzalez upon his retirement pursuant to Section 10-2(1)(1) of the Illinois Municipal Code, and I request that the council consent to this appointment. I would ask for a motion to consent to the appointment of Mr. Carlos G. Villarreal to the Fire and Police Commission to fulfill the remaining term, which is 2 years left, of Mr. Ed Gonzalez. If I could get a motion to that effect. Motion by Alderman Porter, second by Alderwoman Frank. Any questions, any comments regarding that motion? I have Mr. Villarreal is here in the audience. Thank you for coming, Carlos, down here this evening. I'll just say this about Mr. Villarreal. I've known him for, I don't know, 45, 46 years in this community, and a long time. And whenever these appointments come up, I've said it once, I've said it 50 times probably, that it's difficult to find individuals, citizens that would make a great whatever appointment, whether it be the Historical Society, whether it be the Library Board, whether it be, in this case, the Police and Fire Commission, which is a very, very important position. And but I couldn't think of anybody any better. I'd thought of Carlos quite a while ago, and I had reached out to him, and we'd finally been able to make contact, but I couldn't think of a better individual. So thank you very much, Carlos. I know it's a commitment of time, and time away from your family, time away from whatever you enjoy doing, but it is a commitment. And Mr. Gonzalez, Ed had made a commitment here for over 20 years in this community, and I suppose if you did that, you'd be probably 94, I guess. But anyhow, thank you again. I greatly appreciate it. Any questions for Mr. Villarreal? Or if you wanted to say a word, you're certainly welcome. I don't want to put you on the spot. But I'll tell you what. Certainly, come on up.
Well, thank you all for being here today. I thank Mayor Morris for giving me this great opportunity that I've lived here in Belvedere for over 40-some years, got married here. My family is here. I sometimes work part-time at the Belvedere North High School. I do tickets. I do the scoreboard for basketball games. So Belvedere has really become my home, even though I was born in Texas. But I love this town. I don't see myself moving out of here. So like you said, if I'm here 20 years at this position, I'll be more than happy to be here. And I'll enjoy working with the police department and the fire department. I got to know Chief Noble for quite a while when he was in charge, and I knew Sheriff Ernest. His daughters coached for me when I was the director at the YMCA for a number of years. So I know quite a few people in this town, and quite a few know me as Mayor Morris. I know his two brothers, Cliff worked for me at the Y refereeing. So I thank you so much for this great opportunity that's been bestowed upon me. I am humbled by it. I will do my very best, and I'm going to learn as much as I can about each and every personnel in the fire department and the police department. And if I can be of any help or of any assistance to anybody, please let me know. I'll be more than grateful and thankful that you will depend on me, and look forward to being part of you guys, because you guys are the ones that run the town. So I'll look for hopeful information from you. If you can feed me whatever you need, feel that I need to know, I'll be more than happy to get the information from you, and we'll go forward. And I look forward to being with Mayor Morris more often, and meeting maybe with some of you aldermen, if you feel that I need to maybe respond to something or something that I need to know of. So I thank you again. I appreciate the opportunity, and I look forward to working with you guys.
Okay. Okay, we have that motion on the floor then. Thank you, Mr. Villarreal, I appreciate it. We have that motion on the floor then. Any questions? Any comments? All right, hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
If there's any opposed? All right, I'm honored to appoint you, and thank you for coming down. Appreciate it. All right, we don't have anything else on the agenda this evening. Could I have a motion to adjourn? Motion by Alderwoman Frank and a second by Alderman Porter. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, for the record, we adjourned at 6:56 p.m. Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening.